Okay, so we are going to head on down to our next tool. We're going to go to primitives. This one here seems to have a lot of the similar kind of stuff we've already had before, except it's sort of located in one panel. And depending on which you select on, it will open up a new panel. So if you select on Torus, you get the Torus panel. And then it has all the same kind of stuff you saw earlier in some of the other videos I showed on primitives, your X and your Y and your Z axes, and you can just click and boink. There you go. The one problem with this is that you can't see a lot of the stuff in real time while you're modeling it. It's sort of blind, and you have to kind of keep going back to adjust it, whereas some of these other ones actually have live feedback, so you can actually see it in real time without having to, delete, go back, and keep doing it till you get what you want. So we're going to delete that. Let's try wedge. So it's same deal, same thing as we had before, except you can't adjust it in real time. Spline cage, something new. This is something used for spline modeling. If I go into poly mode, each one of these yellow lines you're seeing is an actual spline. So if you do a lot of work with spline patches and you're making stuff like possibly like limbs or something like that, you might use this spline cage as part of the building process and connect a group of these together. So you can select the amount of splines that are actually, and instead of having to build this whole cage on your own, you can make a whole bunch of different ones that actually make this cylinder shape. Like I said, it'd probably be more for like stuff like limbs, organic type of stuff. But it might not necessarily be organic. It could be for, or not necessarily for characters, or it could be for something else. But I would think that probably in general it would be used for characters in most cases for this type of modeling. But you can use spline modeling for things like cars and stuff, and it's very, very popular to spline model cars with splines. But yeah, so let's click on that one again and just see what kind of stuff. Yeah, so I mean, you got your axes, you got sections. Okay, so it's 4 right now going this way, and then going around. Whoops. And going around the spline cage, there's like six sides. Okay, so it actually, you can create a spline cage of whatever length, whatever sections, and the amount of sections and sides. I guess how tall it is, 1 meter minus 1 meter. Radius, how wide this is, so on and so forth. You can use the sliders to adjust it. So this is for spline modeling, just like I said, so everyone knows, because this, as far as I know, will not show up in. Okay, it does show up on wireframe. Let's go texture. Okay, it actually does see it. I'm not sure if this. I don't think this will actually render properly, unless it's turned into a poly. Okay, splines are invisible unless they're turned into actually turned into polygons inside of layout. Okay, and let's clear that one out, and let's move to random points. Okay, square, sphere. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's a square. So it made random points in here. It doesn't show up in the texture view because they haven't, like I was mentioning before, they haven't been converted to polys. So this would not show up in layout when you render it because they haven't been converted. Okay, let's undo that. Let's go back again, random points, and this time it goes sphere, and notice it makes it sort of in a more of a sphere shape this time. And these ones, the points aren't just around the perimeter of the sphere, or the edge, or the polygon edge of a sphere. They're actually all through the actual sphere shape. I know it doesn't look like a supersphere, but what it does is it randomizes points inside of sort of like an imaginary virtual sphere. Okay, and it looks like it's... Okay, no, just one area here. Oop. Oh, I didn't delete our other sphere object. That's why that's in there. Okay, let's clear object. Don't save. Okay, let's go back again. Random points. So we can change the amount of points. We can have 100, or we could have 1, or we could have 1,000, whatever you want. Okay. And you can, looks like there's like a fall off and a constant button. Let's try fall off and see what happens. Okay, let's move into this layer here and try it with constant and see if there's a big difference. Whoops. Let's zoom in. I'm not really sure what the big difference is, but you know, there might be some fooling around you can do with it to actually see if there's anything really different. But so there you go. That's a random point generator. Could be used for, I guess, a multitude of different things. Once again, if you converted these to polys, it could be an explosion, or you might be able to add hypervoxels or something to this and do a whole bunch of nifty stuff with it, or attach objects to these, somehow attach objects to these points. Like I said, there's a whole whack of things you could probably do with this. Okay, let's clear that out. And gear, same deal. The only difference is we can't see this in real time. We can go in and keep changing the parameters. Okay, it's pretty much the same as the other gear gear object that we created for the gear tool. Let's go platonic, and these make just random shapes, cube, and there just doesn't seem to be any controls. It just actually just makes the actual generic object. Whoops, undo. Let's do that one again. So yeah, all different styles of shapes. Looks like, reminded me of Dungeons and Dragons dice, D&D dice. Not that I ever played it, but I've seen them. So yeah, kind of cool. Okay, so I think we're done with that for now, and we'll move on to the next part of the Create tab.